Hi there, everybody. Coming out to take a look at the trees here. We finally got some beautiful weather. About mid to upper 60s here in Vermont. What is it? April 23rd. Nice Honeycrisp there at about half-inch green. This is a Nova Spy. It's a northern spy tree that was found up in Nova Scotia. Evidently, it's got some nice red characteristics to the apple. Beautiful tree. If you haven't ever done it before, window screens are great down the bottom of the tree. Keep the voles off of them. And also, you're going to keep the borers out from laying their eggs down at the base of the tree with those. So it's a good way of protecting your trees. Another Honeycrisp. And this is a Liberty, and boy, it's got a ton of blossoms on them. Not a surprise. They really like to fruit like crazy. You got to really thin them out hard when you're growing them. Really good apple, but they need to be thinned hard to keep some decent sized apples. Here's another one. Another thing you can do to get them to fruit good is use some spreaders. Keep these limbs coming out at a 60-degree angle. You'll get more fruit quicker on these younger trees. These two trees are, I think I put them in the ground about 2 years ago. Really nice trees. So here's a few more Honeycrisp here. These are all on bigger rootstock, M111. I've got a few M7s down here, rootstock, which puts out a little bit smaller trees. These were planted a little bit later, but beautiful trees. Last year, of course, May 18th, we lost all our apples with a late freeze event. And so I think these things are really wanting to fruit this year pretty good. And we ended up, you can see down to the back there, the pile of prunings there. That's like there's about 3 piles about that big. That's probably the size of a small dump truck. And normally we have one of them, and we had about 2 to 3 this year, just because they wanted to grow wood last year instead of apples. So we had to do a ton of, same amount of pruning, but it's just each branch got a lot bigger. It's a nice, beautiful Honeycrisp. This thing is gonna fruit good this year. We'll have to thin these out real hard to get some decent size to them. But beautiful trees out here this year. Out in the Tall Spindle, we planted a lot of trees out there this year. Starting to do some mulching out there underneath the trees. You can see some big piles out there, and we'll take a look at that another day or two. Well, cross your fingers, because we're looking at some real cold weather tomorrow night. I think we're supposed to get down to 24 degrees at half-inch green, which these are half-inch greens. Not quite up to tall spin or to tight cluster, but they will just going to make it through that freeze event. We're supposed to get down to about 24 degrees. At half-inch green, you can get down to, I want to say 23 with about a 10% loss, and then down to 15 is a 90% loss. But if they're opened up to a little bit more than that, this one's opened up a little bit more. But if you open up where you see the little balls of fruit in them, where the blossoms would be opening, they're more susceptible to the cold. So about I think it's 25 degrees is a 10% loss, maybe 27. I'd have to look it up. And then 23 degrees is a 90% loss. So these should be okay, but it's still a little too close for comfort. We do have some Zestars out there that are opened up a little bit more, and so they might be in trouble, but well, we'll see what happens. Crossing our fingers. That's farming. Looks like tomorrow morning here in central Vermont, we're going to be in a little trouble in the orchards again. Looks like they're saying we could get down to 24 degrees. So I don't know if you can see these too well. This is called tight cluster. You can see all the little flower head balls right on the inside there, but the outside leaves are opened right up, and so they don't have a lot of protection around those blossoms. So at tight cluster, 21 degrees is a 90% kill, and 27 degrees is a 10% kill. So 24 degrees, we're getting down there. We could lose quite a bit. Let's take a look at these Macintosh. Let me see if I can find some here. You can see these Macs are tightened right up around the blossoms. A little mouse ear sticking out there. That's called half-inch green. And at half-inch green, you can get down, let me see, 15 degrees would be a 90% kill, and 23 degrees would be a 10% kill. So at 24 degrees, we should be okay at half-inch green. Tight cluster, we're going to have some issues. Let's see what these McCowns look like. Yeah, real tight here. Half-inch. You can just start seeing the balls on these sticking out, but it's closed up. That should be a little bit better, but you may lose a little bit, but not much. That shouldn't be a big deal. Most of the orchards pretty much at half-inch green. Some of them are opened up a little bit more. Cortland's here. These big whippy branches to them. Yeah, this one is opened up pretty much. There's tight cluster. Some of them are a little bit tighter, so they certainly could have some issues. Yeah, let's take a look around some more. These Liberties are definitely opened up. You can really see the blossom heads on these. See how the outside leaves are opened right up. They should definitely have some issues. So hopefully it won't get down to as bad as they say it's going to be. You know, 1 or 2 degrees can make all the difference in the world. So we'll see what happens. Crossing fingers.